There's a new trend involving cakes on TikTok, but it has nothing to do with baking or desserts. And it has everything to do with being a thirsty little freak. It's called the Hear Me Out cake. It is a very silly trend that only involves your love of cake and being a thirsty little freak. And it basically just combines two pre-existing internet trends. The first is the concept of smash or pass. I think we all know this one. It's like you're presented with a person. They're gonna ask you if you would smash or pass. I mean, you know. The other meme that the Hear Me Out cake draws upon is, of course, the classic Hear Me Out. If you don't know, Hear Me Out is colloquially a phrase for when you're talking about somebody that you find attractive or would smash, let's put it that way, that is not conventionally attractive, therefore requiring you to ask the person to hear you out. The Hear Me Out meme is pretty infamous because as far as heterosexual men go, they always fail to understand and grasp what hear me out means because they'll say like, okay, hear me out, Helen Mirren. And I'm like, okay, that's not a hear me out. She's a hot lady. Another classic example is like Linda Cardellini as Velma and Scooby-Doo as a hear me out. It's like, she's very beautiful. Now, I don't know why, but the smash or pass trend turned into a cake trend on TikTok where people were creating smash cakes where it's a cake that you bring a photo of someone that you think is hot that you would smash and you put it on a cake. That brings us to this creator who I'll tag below. I think she might have been the one that created the Hear Me Out cake because she says, I wanted to make a smash cake, but instead they're all my hear me outs. That's why this Hear Me Out cake trend that combines the two is so funny because it mostly features women and they've got a really weird range of tastes. Clearly this one includes, well, I see the Times New Roman font. This Hear Me Out cake has Gordon Ramsay, Aslan from The Lion, the Witch, and the Wardrobe, and specifically Ben Stiller from Night at the Museum. She made a point to specify. There are a lot of these cakes if you search Hear Me Out cake on TikTok, and it is hilarious. These ladies, a little bit older millennials, I could tell because I see Matthew Lillard and the Scarecrow from The Wizard of Oz. As I said, it's mostly women participating. I didn't find many men, but I did find this couple, and the guy did not disappoint. He put down Miss Frizzle and Mrs. Krabappel from The Simpsons. This guy gets it. I couldn't leave it at that. I had to ask some of my friends, my older millennial friends, who their hear me outs would be if we were to make a hear me out cake, and they did not disappoint. The first one that I think is a really strong hear me out contender is Edward Norton, but Edward Norton's character from American History X, you can look that up yourself. One of my girlfriends suggested Ken Marino, the comedian. Another friend of mine suggested Marc Maron, the comedian. But then it got really good when one suggested Santa, and I said Santa, and she said the Velvet, he wants me to sit on his lap. You know, I'm not here to judge. Of course, someone else mentioned Bluey's dad. You know, who can resist Bluey's dad? And one of my friends said Rockadoodle, the cartoon movie, and I'm like, what? I don't remember this guy, but I can see it. As for me, I don't know why I find Lurch from the Addams Family so handsome. Maybe it's that he's big and quiet. Another classic hear me out for the girls that I fully agree with is Venom, the character Venom. Yeah, you get it. Tell us some of your hear me outs below, because who needs a cake when you have a comment section?